Welcome everybody. What have I got for you? Episode 314, Scuffed Epoch. I'm Drift Johnson. This is the Inside Line. We're going to be doing Gamedev JSX. We're going to be looking at a whole bunch of stuff. Got a bunch of new games we've built, proving out all this works. Open sourcing the whole thing, as usual. So don't forget, if you're watching live or if you're watching later, the links are in the description. You can join us in the Discord. A lot of the stuff is in the Inside Line channel. If you want to follow along with any of this stuff, all the links will be read out as we go through. Alright. Hello to everybody in the chat. Fernicar, but Battlecruiser operational, liked and subscribed. Now where were we? Zeus is here. Hello, hello. And so is Kirk Curtis. Hello, hello to anybody else lurking. And we'll move on. Alright. So we made a whole bunch of new stuff. Mostly JSX components. Some of them are for tools. Some of them are actually pieces of games. Made some random stuff. I believe last time we left you with a violent melee game in Whitebox, which would be scuffedepoch.com/DynastyZ Turbo with the dashes. And that one's pretty impressive. I did enjoy that one. Inspired by Dynasty Warriors type mechanics. All in procedural, But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. If you stick around, you're going to learn how to use my skill to increase the depth of your games using procedural, deterministic... Man, the words escape me right now. But essentially, hello, Forgotten Castle. But yeah, basically, by using the skill, you can improve the plan. We can use seamless, infinite, procedural determinism for everything. Stats, names, everything. And you can have it follow a specific schema. So you can have it do what you want. And we've already got full implemented games you can just play right now. I'm putting together a whole bunch of little mini sites that are going to make them more accessible, because they are essentially my portfolio, right? But I've open sourced everything, so you can go ahead and take all the JSX components and you can modify them into whatever game it is that you're using, or use the methodology to construct your own. It's a very efficient way of doing things. Hello, Forgotten Castles Dolphin. Welcome, welcome. Some old faces and some new ones, I hope, in the chat. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing a quick rundown. There is also the Qwen 3 TTS, which I will cover straight away for anybody who's coming just for that. All right. So the Qwen 3 TTS project, I took a Mac implementation for MLX from Simon Willison's weblog. I ported it to TypeScript, so it was just the text-to-speech component, okay? And then I haven't updated the repo yet. Hello, Twiggenberries. I haven't updated the repo yet, but the voice cloning is now working. I just think it's a little bit, I still think it could be better, so I'm still improving that. But I will put up a branch which will have the cloning. So the main branch just has text-to-speech, and it works great. But the voice cloning was taking a little bit more development time. So we've got it working now. You basically have a managed voice, you upload your voice, you put your... It sort of goes available. It's available here, see? Let me turn this up. Test voice. I have no sound. All right, don't worry about it. The point is, for some reason I can't hear the damn thing. The point is, you wouldn't be able to hear it anyway, guys. It's a different computer which we're streaming. But anyway, you go into Voice Clone, you load your voice from the list, and you type what you want, and it does it. I think you all know what TTS is by now, but it's using the new Qwen 3 TTS. I think it's just under 8 gigabytes for the big model, and then the half, billion parameter, 0.7 billion, is under 4 gigs. So that should run on a laptop, and I will be testing that out soon, so that'll be fun. I expect the voice cloning isn't as good as the high quality, so I'm not expecting much. But it was pretty close. When I did the test, it was pretty close. I need to test it on me, because, you can recognize things that you don't recognize in a voice you don't really know. So I'll be able to tell. But essentially, there'll be a new branch going up on my Qwen 3 TTS. I believe it's public. And yeah, you run it locally. It downloads the models from Hugging Face. It's pretty simple. It has a back end and a front end. It could probably be improved with workers and stuff, but we're not here to talk about that. So there it is. You'll find it on my GitHub, guys. It's literally called Qwen 3 TTS UI or something like this. Clone it, install it, have fun with it. It's very nice, to be honest. Very nice. And I think you can train it too, but I haven't really looked into that. All I know is it's got cloning and text-to-speech right now. So that's all I could figure out in a couple of days. It only came out yesterday. So anyway, moving on. New games. Oh wait, first, tools. So we made Iris Liquify. I can't remember if we mentioned this last time. It has multiple points you can change. So say the head's too big. You know, you can pin a few things like the shoulders so they don't stretch. And you can put the head on, and you can make the head smaller, for example, if the big heads is always a problem. So that was what that one was made for. Inspired by a tool that Fernicar was working on. I still think his is better, but the hexagonal or the honeycomb grid is very nice. Flying toasters, we made a screensaver. It's a JSX to screensaver. Okay, I just wanted to show you the power of porting. So you can get Claude Code to write you a React JSX screensaver on flying toasters, and then you can have that be ported immediately to a screensaver. There is a web demo, so you can download a demo.html and check out the component and see how it works, play with the sliders. But I think there's a folder in here which has got I haven't tested it though, so got to be careful with screensavers. But it's there because it's a dev project, right? Quick crop. So quick crop is exactly what you think it is. It's a quick crop. Now, why would I want to make a quick crop? For integration into other apps is why. Maybe you want to have this built into your generation remixing web app. So the idea is to give a modular component that you can just drop tools in. I'm going to make another one for masking as well, because I made one in the past. I just can't find my code. I'll probably just make it again. Quick crop. So yeah, again with quick crop we did the shrinkage, so we made the head smaller in this image but kept the shoulders the same, and then did a quick crop from a bigger image. NPC visual editor is for the RPG dialogue. I previously made a tool which makes full screen chat dialogue, toast dialogue, so little faces that pop out with chat like a JRPG. And we've included the Doom face, which is a pilot HUD. I don't think I've got a working version of that, but we'll show you what it was for. Essentially, this has been modified for the game. What you'll notice with JSX components is that you can ask them to be adapted as they're brought in. So if you were making a sci-fi game, you're going to see the names of the NPCs in that game after you've brought it in. And the idea is that you've developed your game with SVG placeholder assets because it's quick and easy, but then now you want to actually put PNGs in there. So this enables you to swap it out basically by giving you an editor in game that you use in development, obviously. And what's going to happen is it's going to take all the images, so all the images in the game are in the UI, you upload them, it renames them, puts them in the right place, makes all the thumbnails, writes a manifest JSON, and then when you hit bake, it downloads you a zip with all of that. And then what you do is you unzip that into your assets folder and go, hey Claude, I've made all the assets. And he just makes it correct. And then you don't need, you know what I mean? So it's a way of simplifying that whole nightmare of connecting your assets up and replacing those placeholders. It uses IndexedDB in here, okay, to hold them all temporarily, but then it obviously bakes to zip, so then you have all of the files and they're in the right structure. Now, why did I say it works with my NPC dialogue? So if you use the NPC dialogue component, this will integrate with that. But to be honest, you could just bring this in as is because it's going to integrate. The whole point of these is that you can adapt, integrate, and then implement. So you don't really, it's not like copy pasting code. He'll rewrite every little function and variable and value to make it suit your project, not mine. And so I try to make the working demo, show that it's going to work. But the JSX is kind of clean. and it comes with an integration document, so you can just include that in the convo and he'll know what to do. Just act like the director. Tell him what you want to happen, tell him the end result, and then he'll make it happen. But the point is, in-game editing tools makes your life so much easier. All right, enough of that. Dogfight Z. First game of the night. First game of the night, everyone. Boom. So then, this one is inspired by Fernicar's project, which was inspired one of my projects, which was inspired by one of his. It's kind of like a weird feedback loop for this one. I think it was originally based on one of the idle clicker games, but as you can see, it's a screensaver. You've got infinite squadrons just fighting each other in 3JS. It's kind of nice to just watch, but you do have the ability to give them orders. So there's a bunch of orders down the bottom of the screen, so I can change the behavior of the green jets, who are currently outnumbered. Okay. And the funny thing is that one of the next games we're going to look at was actually evolved from here using my TINS system and all of these components, which I'm going to show you as we go on in this show. Tonight's actually really cool. If you're ever going to be wanting to mess around with making game development in AI with this is going to be like a little gem on the internet that people will find one day. Because we've managed to do some really crazy things over the last couple of weeks, and it went from Pac-Man to PlayStation 1 in about a month. So right now we're still looking at the basic stuff, but some of the latest stuff is quite advanced. Like, you could spend forever on graphics and adding content, but you'll see what I mean. So I'm not going to hang around. This is Dogfighter Z. I think there's actually another one, but I've forgotten the URL. Did I send it to... Hang on, I need to check my list here. Oh, I suppose we can just come back to it naturally. Yeah, we can just come back to it naturally. All right, so as you can see, it's a dogfight. They're flying around, fighting each other. I can give some orders, and it'll change the behavior. I think you get the idea, right? There's like a command point system and stuff. You can't see the command point system and everything. Change the resolution a little bit, and you can see there's some more UI elements at the bottom of the screen. So we have command points. So if I say to them, hold fire, it's going to use up command points. And then I could say missile launch. Oh crap, I gotta wait. How about now? There we go, missile launch. He's not doing it. All right. So I think we've made that. That's good. Okay. So it's just a little passive thing. So moving on, we have 3D procedural terrain v2. So earlier I made a seamless procedural terrain thing. Now we've got this on very low resolution right now because we wanted that low poly aesthetic. Okay. And what this does is quite clever. So every tile on a procedural terrain has a seed and it has a known size. So we can put a grid over the top of that as an additional layer, which I call the structure layer, which is just a grid. Okay. And in this editor, in editor mode, we can place structures from our library of models. So this would be blocking. You can put proper 3D models inside the blocking later. But this could be like your collision blocking for whatever is actually going to go there. And the idea is simple. When there are structures, the adjacent squares are reserved. And then we make a mask, called a structure mask, which then subtracts from the terrain to make it not make mountains where the buildings are. And so in that way, we can put down wherever we want our structures to be, but it automatically flattens out the area around your city. Do you see what I mean? Or hangar, or whatever it is that you're putting there. And so it's a nice way to do that. Obviously, you can do all kinds of different adjustments. And also, you can see that there are tile seeds. So we can actually find out what is the seed of the one next to it. So if you wanted to make quite a large structural city thing, you could actually overlap. And because of the determinism, the seeds are correct. The tiles will be matching. So you can end up... So it is possible to do it. just by having an additional layer which is locked into the same seed. Okay, so if the tile for this seed, the tile for this structure set, and off you go. But you also have the advantage of being able to use different structures on different tile sets as well. So you got 2 options there. So this is, like I said, as far as I got with. We've gone a bit further than this, guys. By the time you get to the end, you're going to be like, why did he even show me this? But this is really important for learning. Comes with an integration guide, JSX, and a demo.html. It's going to be, you don't even need to go there now though, because I've made a proper website which we're going to show in a bit, and it's got access to all the demos and all the components, so I'm quite happy with it. So anyway, as we get deeper, I made a Kojima building principles skill, I made a From Software building principles skill, and I made an Akira Toriyama building principles skill. All of those skills can be used with Claude Code, Claude Web, and probably with a lot of other LLMs and agents, because they basically define behavior and they zone in on a particular thing. Now, my idea was I want a dream team of the world's best game designers to have me, to advise me on enhancing my plans. And it worked really well. When we were using the Kojima one, it was giving us all kinds of like strand and mythological weaving stuff. The Akira Toriyama was giving us amazing art direction, which we could turn into prompt enhancement agents for Nano Banana. And I've got a new system coming out called Anchored ID. I've almost finished writing it up, but I want to make like a nice tutorial site and stuff so it all looks easy to understand. It's easy to do. Okay, it's just Vase. But so if you're in the know, you know. But it'll all be revealed. So I want to say what we're doing here is Braben. I wanted to know, how did David Braben get the entire galaxy into 22 kilobytes on a BBC Micro in 1988? How did he do it? And it turns out he used something called Fibonacci. So the Braben building principles skill is a specific advisor. Okay, makes good help, yes. I would probably read the actual repo. Sometimes I'm a little bit, I'm making jokes, all right? But this is an amazing building principles skill, okay? It's going to give you, but I realized something when I was making it, and that was that we could actually get some more out of this skill. That I realized it was untapped, and that led to the ZeroBytes skill. Now, this is probably the most powerful skill I've made since Tins, because it takes a plan, and then, well, this is for procedural specialization, okay? Basically, it's everything in ZeroBytes. Everything in ZeroBytes. Position as seed is the concept, and that came from the Beyond Fibonacci research, which I'm going to make another mini. We're going to be looking at that next week, most likely, because I haven't built it today. But all of the demo HTMLs, they're all live, and they explain everything. They are focused on space games, of course, but this gives you the ability to do infinite universes. Forget infinite planets, and this is infinite multiverses. It's ridiculous. It's probably what they used in Starfield. It's funny, but it's better than that in a way. It's got everything. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is how it was done, and I've already adapted it into a game you can play, an endless dungeon game, which is, we're going to show it, we're getting there, so please don't go anywhere. But anyway, the ZeroBytes skill, procedural specialist and optimization advisor, okay? Often I'll ask him to help me with making my procedural stuff better, because the vibe code, it does it for you, but it does it in like the most basic way, and this guy will come in and make it done proper. And you'll see what I mean when we get there. We've got full demos for all of the stuff that we're going to show tonight. You can go onto the GitHubs, you can download the demo HTMLs, you can drop the integration document or just the JSX on its own if you're brave into your Cursor or your Windsurf or your Open Code Galaxy. Whatever it is that you use, it doesn't matter, they'll all work. So, obviously it's made for Claude Code, but so yeah, don't miss the ZeroBytes skill. It's super cool, and you'll be sold when I show you the demo. But anyway, how did I get it? Because I want you to know, how did I actually get it? And the way was web GPU hash. That's what it's all about. It's 400 times faster than Fibonacci, and it takes advantage of parallelization. It's all in the thing. Like I said, the Beyond Fibonacci is a full guide. It's like a course. It's a full course. We're going to have a website put together for this. But everything is here. Coordinate hash explorer, property layer visualizer, noise comparison. Everything's here. I don't want to... The layered terrain builder, we're going to be showing a demo of that applied. I've got a game built which uses it. And the planetary surface renderer, we also did, I think. Unless it's just layered terrain. I think I might have made a 3D layered terrain with this. Seamless. But we're going to be looking at all of that. So here we have a web GPU application of sequential versus parallel race. When we do this one, you'll notice that it's the same speed. It's about the same. The speed of sequential versus parallel, because you're not running it on GPU, are you? You're running it on CPU. So you'll run this and you'll go, oh, it's about the same. And the reason is because it's not really parallel until you do web GPU, and then you'll notice it's 400 times faster, and you go, oh, because this is like saying, I see so many. I've made a lot of vibe games over the last few months where we've had to define the names, the stats, the locations, build the level, make the structure for what map goes where, all of that stuff. And the reality is you can do it all in ZeroBytes using position as seed. So the position determines what it is essentially the concept. If you know seed from AI, obviously you're using seeds to make images and videos a lot. It's the same concept. So if you lock the seed, as you move around, everything is going to be what it should be, right? And we can have fun with that. And that's how a lot of games do it, you know. It'll make up names, it'll make up stats, classes, anything you want. So, and like I said, it's not done like, it's funny, you'll get a plan or a code base, review it with the skill, and yeah, you'll see the output. But so this is part of the Beyond Fibonacci project, which includes the Braben Principle skill, the ZeroBytes skill, and this repo, the thing. So each demo is a self-contained React JSX component illustrating a specific technique from the position as seed paradigm. So the original Elite encoded 2048 star systems in 6 bytes using Fibonacci sequences, a masterpiece of constraint-driven design. But modern hardware demands a fundamentally different approach. Position should be the seed. No state machine, no sequential iteration, any coordinate anywhere in infinite space immediately computes its contents through pure functions of spatial position. These demonstrations make that paradigm tangible and interactive. You can literally clone this repo, and it's got a load of... You can just open up all the HTMLs and play with them. But I thought that's not good enough. So this is the whole thing. 0, bracket 1. Okay, that's the whole thing. And then I gave the web GPU demo so you can see how to do the acceleration in browser. Okay, this is really cool. I've really had a lot of fun with this particular project. So pure functional design, 0 external state, interactive parameters, and yeah, educational focus, because this is part of one of my courses. But I'm giving it away for free. So position as seed, coherent noise, hierarchical constraints, spatial coherence. And then a bonus, web GPU acceleration. Honestly, I had the most fun building this, but the website will be even more fun because we'll be able to access it without, requiring people to download their GitHub. But I'm going to show you how I'm doing that with all of those JSX components in just a second. All right. So that's Beyond Fibonacci, guys. I mean, if you're going to see here, we have galaxies, and you click on them and there's stars, and you click on them as planets, and you click on them. So it's this sort of procedural design, and as you can see, the octave stacker. But like I said, I want to show you the actual implementation because that's what the most fun is. Now we're going to have a little break and show one of my cool games which does actually use the it uses the infinite stuff, guys. So this is one of the first games we built. It has the endless mode, all right, with the seed. So obviously change the seed, different game. There's a seed viewer. Oh, is it going to work? Oh, yeah, it is working. It is working. Okay, so as you can see, this is the game, guys. All right. I put in a viewer, so you can just. The idea was you can put it in demo mode, and it's like, you know, have you ever seen like an arcade machine when it's like, oh, put the coin in? I wanted to make like a put the coin in type thing, you know, into the game. So this is Orbital Descent 2. I'm not going to be very good at it, but it shows a couple of things. They're all modular. You can just drop them right in. So, oh, we got sound now. Procedural sound. Hopefully it's not too bad. So we are a ball. Yep, that's right. You guessed it. We're a ball. It's WSAD. So you can't like do... Oh, wait, you can do angles, actually. I changed it. Okay, cool. So if we click, we can move. I'm going to turn the sound down because it's a bit distracting for me. All right, so anyway, we got bounce. Okay. We got bounce. We got double jump. And we got glide, which lasts for like a couple of seconds. Now, there's variables for all of the different things in the game. If you've ever played Vampire Survivors, you'll know that there are these sort of buff things that happen over time. So as I progress down this thing, hopefully I don't... Oh, no, I suck. Wait. I've screwed up myself. It's okay. You just don't get any points because I didn't land on anything. Or you get less. Oh. Come on. I shouldn't rotate the camera around because I'll lose the plot. Whoa! Whoa! Okay. So anyway, let's get sticky because I need to be sticky. And see on the left, we've stacked a whole bunch of those things. It doesn't pause the game. I had a slightly different take on it, right? But essentially, it's the same idea. So I'm just going to add all of these. Make myself super light, super sticky, super grippy. Okay, cool. I want to get beanbag, really. So what I want to do is not turn the camera left and right because I'll move the controls and get confused. Whoa, it's turning into a bit of a parachuting game, to be honest. Oh, extended glide, okay. Oh. Can we get to there? Ah, I missed. No. And so anyway, it's like, you know, it's all running off of position as seed. So, you know, is it perfect? No. But it's kind of like a tech demo, really. You know, where we're just going to do the thing. Oh, I missed. Ah. Okay, wait. Sticky. I need more sticky. I need extra jump. I need climber. Oh, what's the climber? There's not even anything to climb. Oh, there's a different game mode that has objects I forgot about. Uh-oh, I've lost the plot. I've lost the plot. Press R. Oh, sheesh. We are freaking high up. Okay, so anyway, yeah. I think you get the idea, though, right? You got the modular bonus system. Yeah. But it's not intrusive like Vampire Survivors where it stops the game. But you can put that into any game. And you get to determine what all the perks are. And a lot of the time, it will actually just imagine them. Do you know what? I'm thinking I should make it so you have to fall through hoops. Change the game. You know? But that's the whole point of tech demos. All right. Boom. Can we go... hold it. Hold X. Yeah, we go. Right. So here we have the normal levels, which obviously are a little bit more marbly. So let's see, we've got to go down there. These ones will have little, so that's what the climb is for. But again, I think the power-up system is a little bit overpowered. But yeah, these make a bit more sense because it's not, you know, it has a beginning and an end. Oh, I think I might even make it. Oh, I might even manage to finish the game. Boom. And then my time is on the leaderboard. So again, it's like a arcade machine type feel. Yeah, sure, you've got this whole 1, 2, 3 stuff, but this is just New Game Plus material, isn't it? So you don't, you know, every time you might get the gold power-up that totally changes the gameplay. And then there's the endless mode for just, you know, wasting time, really. So there it is. But again, it uses the ZeroBytes position as seed to determine where everything is going to be and all that good stuff. All right. So what do we do next? We built Stratos Crew. I hope this is the latest version. I think it is. But this is based on that jet game that we showed earlier on in the show. So if you've been hanging on, this is what I was talking about, hopefully. So we have the dogfight mode still, where we can push C. And this is Fernicar's jet. And my terrain, my new procedural, seamless, whatever the nonsense terrain. Now, I think he's getting a bit confused about what target he's supposed to go for at the moment. But that's my fault. Oh! Oh! He's dead. But yeah, you can see the seamless terrain here. It does actually cache as well. But anyway, the main game is in defense mode. So in this defense mode, we have wingmen, and we are a gunner on a plane. Do you love the size of that turret? Whoop. It's using the Explosions JSX. That's the Explosions JSX. As you can see up in the top, it's using the buff system again. Same buff system from the last game. Again, when it's a modular component, it just works. The planes and the 3D models were made with the JSX model editor. Because you see, you can muck around with them in JSON format, right? And then you can export them to GLB if you want. But as you can see here, whoa, the red ships are a different model. Whoa, whoa. We're going to unlock different weapons and all this jazz. That's the weapons system that we brought in. There's a couple of bugs here and there, you know, but they're mostly like the bullets are going sideways. You know what I mean? I'm not too fussed about stuff like that. You can... But like I said, we're in formation. We're flying over the procedural endless ZeroByte 3D terrain. That's using the layered stuff. So it can make any type of terrain. Whoa. With any terrain, with any color. So we could go to any planet, any setting we want. You could make it, you know, you can amplify the height. I modified it so that the sea was flat. You see what I mean? It's using an LOD system. I don't know. You know, I mean, here we are. We've got the game. This one is available at scuffdepot.com/stratos-crew. So that's STRATOS. Oh, crap. Dash crew. CREW. I think there's allegedly a missile system in this game. But I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to work. Whoa. That guy hit me. Whoa, I missed. What happens to the Hellfire missile? Still broken. Whoa! Oh, the Hellfire missiles are kind of broken. Yeah, they just miss. That's fine. So yeah, like I said, the models are custom made with simple poly to keep the keep the triangle count down. And you know what the fun thing is? Because you can export them in JSON, if you design just 3 ships, you can put those 3 ships into Claude and say, make me a variation based on, you know, use these, just attach the 3 JSONs to the conversation with no real concepts, you know, just say, I want you to use these as grounding. Now generate me, an entirely new faction. They'll do it. What's going on? Oh, there we go. He was off dogfighting that red guy. Yeah, so, and they'll do it. They'll give you an entire thing. I've made, 6 factions of spaceships based on just 3 designs. And you can obviously export them to GLB if you want to modify them and make them better. But it's doing a lot of the work when it's like there's a lot of placeholder. And also, maybe you like that wireframe, sort of shaded wireframe. I do. I think the shaded wireframe looks pretty cool. Hang on. Can we see one of these? Look at this. It's like, that's what Fernie put together. A jet fighter. They kind of just turn in place at the moment, though. Watch when the enemies come. Yeah, they just turn around. All right, let's see if we can use one of these special weaponries. Oh, they're all dead. Okay, that was effective. But yeah, the whole point of this game is you have to last 5 minutes being escorted and being the gunner. So I don't get to fly. We were experimenting with all these different ways of, control in the game. And so we come up with lots of ways where you don't control it, You're just the gunner. And it means you can have a bit more of an arcade experience when the waves come in. You could make the AI like a bit smarter, put like an exclusion zone so they don't come right in like they are now with me. But these are all little tweaks. The point is everything else was put together using a combination of tins, plans, and JSX components. So, and I think if we make it to the end of the demo, it's going to unlock our endless mode, which basically just doesn't end. We just take away the timer. I always say this is like 95%, so I don't consider it finished, but it is. So it's more likely that I'll make a new game which incorporates all of these concepts than continue to, because at the end of the day, this is a demo. It's a demo to illustrate using the components in combination with the tins planning system. And I think we've showed it now many times. Get proof. So now we have the endless mode, which is essentially, as you might expect, it is essentially just no timer now. The timer counts up instead of down. You see what I mean? So now we just go for high score. So we're on a flight somewhere in our slow plane, and we're under attack by enemy waves at night somewhere, right? Somewhere high up. That's what the idea was, and we managed to achieve it. This is exactly what it was supposed to be. You can talk about, the quality of the models is a bit, and you're like, yeah, you could say that. I kind of like it. I kind of like the cute little simple poly stuff. But, at the end of the day, that's just all extra time, isn't it? Oh, we make the thing better. We spend a week on the ground. We spend a week on the plane. We spend a week on the sky. It's just more time. So it wouldn't actually be functionally different. So from a code-based stance, you're just talking about art, And maybe we put a sphere around the ship. So, you're talking about all these little, they're just tweaks, really. The bones is here. It's done. It's finished. You see what I mean? So, enjoy. Like I say, the link is in the description. Join the Discord, go to the inside line, you'll find it. Stratos Crew. And like I said, we updated it for all of the coolness. 3D layered terrain v3 JSX component built with the ZeroBytes skill. Okay, that's the whole point of what we're doing tonight. And here is the open source for the 3D layered terrain system. Okay. Do you know what? I'm just going to show you. Yeah, no, stop. We're getting there. I'll show you the demo when we get to the main site. Because there's an easy way for you to check all of this out now, which I finished today. But I want to give you the full breakdown, because I'm probably going to embed this video in the site. Haha. All right. Zeus says, very cinematic. I missed that chat. Sorry, mate. Talking about the original screensaver dogfighting game. And then Zeus said there was a game called Balance, similar to this, that was given with old graphics cards. Oh, it was like a demo. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Oh, yeah, by the way, this has got my trademark health system. So obviously we're going to get hit a lot, aren't we? And I wanted to make that realistic. And I've got a system that I use in a lot of my games. So the structure is only half of my health. The rest of my health is done with chaff and flares. And that way, you don't actually take damage when you get hit. So you do get hit, but you don't take damage. It expends a flare and it does a particle effect. So then you get to feel more immersive from it. So really, it's like you get double HP, and the extra HP is either chaff or flares, which run out. So then you're sat there looking at the number like, oh, I've only got so many flares left. You see what I mean? And I think that makes it a little bit more immersive. And for something slow, I think it makes more sense to do that. because then you don't feel like a sponge. Do you know what I mean? You're not taking loads of damage because you're like, oh, it missed. The countermeasures got that one. You know what I mean? They do this in plane games because it's not realistic, is it? If you're a plane, to get shot lots of times, it's not realistic. Pretty much planes go down in one hit. So the countermeasures make it much more immersive. So I just make that part of the HP system. But yeah, like I said, the weapon system, the buff system, the HP and flares and chaff stuff, the explosions when you hit enemies, the models were created with an editor. That's all JSX components you can integrate into any game, and they will adapt to whatever genre it is that you're using. And it's nice because then you can work with placeholders that actually look good, and it's fun. You get to play the game and tweak that stuff, and then it feels more rewarding when you actually make high quality models and high quality assets if you want to go down that route, because you know it's already good. You know, if I just made a really cool 3D model for the planes right now, put in a bit more like atmospheric shading stuff, you know. But anyway, oh. And you can die, you won't just go forever, but it's easy. What we did was we put an aim cone with auto lock for 15 degrees, so if I shoot and there's an enemy in my crosshair, it gets hit. So it's not really doing, there is bullet physics, but none of it is used to check if something gets hit. Instead, we just say, if it's in the crosshair, it gets hit. It's a nice way to save memory if you want to do, because I want to be able to support, like, you know, hundreds of enemies coming in, yeah? With the framework that we're building. I want it to be efficient. But anyway, it's time to move on. This was a lot of fun. We just finished this the other day. Stratos Crew, another one. Okay, so then we got Puppet JSX. So I made the Puppet JSX system, which gives you modular components with skeleton animations, 4-frame animations that loop, and with that you can make full-featured prototyping in 2D. So your 2D top-down, 2D isometric, all of that stuff can use this system. It also gives you a rudimentary level editor, but it's just for testing. So Puppet JSX 2 was enhanced with the ZeroBytes skill. So again, the ZeroBytes skill, it's amazing. And what it's done is it's made my cheap Claude Code procedural system into a true infinite dungeon. Like a true infinite dungeon. Everything is in the system now. And, well, we're going to get there because I apply this module into my Demon Swords game. So we made a game called R-Torch, which is React. It's all out already. I think we talked about this maybe last week, where you are a torch and the NPCs pick you up and you possess them in the dungeon. So you're the torch. You can't move on your own. So if your thing gets killed, you just fall on the floor and you have to wait for something else to pick you up. It's quite fun. And we've now finished that game. It's now called Demon Swords 2 Endless. Okay, and we're going to get there. Like I said, all the links are already up, but I just get the opportunity to explain how it was done, where, you know, how you can follow the same steps to take advantage of this stuff. So Puppet JSX 2 ZeroBytes is the new version. Okay, this is the new version. So you get infinite characters at runtime, 0 bytes, names, stats, classes, everything. And it can be suited to your genre. Obviously, in this case, it's going to be like a dungeon crawler. Endless dungeon, so it actually does generate the endless dungeon as well with infinite levels. So, you know, boss rooms, loot rooms, rest rooms, enemy spawn rooms, the whole thing. You still get the same 4-frame skeletal animations with interpolation. What it's going to do is it's going to map all of the 50 placeholders to everything in the game. And probably use recoloring, I would imagine. There's a demo HTML and a dev guide. And also I included plans that show you how you can use PNG, as we were saying, to replace those SVGs. If you want, you can replace the SVGs with rich graphics as well. So you're not locked into the, the SVG stuff. It's possible to map high quality graphics. We're going to be doing that as well, which is going to be fun. But at the moment, this one explains all of that. We also did an experiment with ZeroBytes to see if we could get some low poly mecha designer. I'm going to improve this because it's really quite rudimentary, but essentially it's deforming the cubes to try and make different shapes. It's not very good. It's okay. It's okay, but it could be a lot better, so I'm going to keep polishing the mecha designer. It does work though, if you want to make mechs and then you've got a variation slider. It does work, I just think it could be a lot better. So that's my honest truth with that one. Taking a quick diversion real quick, there is something called Remotion, which is a special library which you can use with Claude Code to make basic videos. So it makes cheap videos like this. It's just animating the frames, okay? And as you can see, it's possible to make like little intermissions and title screens and stuff like this. You can do a whole lot more than this, but I just wanted to show a demo and then write up how I did it. So it's prompt to video. As far as I can tell, basic infographics, but there is a full editor UI. So I imagine you can add assets and have him like move images around and do all this cut from this clip to that clip. So it's prompting video editing as much as it is creating these sorts of things here. But anyway, I thought it was fun. I saw it. Not a lot of people know about it. I'd probably integrate it into my system if I, you know what I mean? I'd probably use this to develop something, but it's very cool, very cool. Like, it's a framework, okay, for LLM-friendly video editing. Next up, we've got the Blender retopology skill. So I wrote a skill which is specifically for use with the Blender MCP. So the Blender MCP exists. You can use it with Claude Code. If you don't know how, download it and tell Claude Code to install the Blender MCP. And then if you have Blender open and you have the Blender plugin for the Blender MCP installed and enabled, you can push N in the workspace and say connect to the server, connect the server to Claude or whatever, right? The API. You'll enable it. There's a big button that says connect. You can't miss it. Anyway, all you have to do is remember pressing N once you've opened a project. And I previously generated a monkey, Suzanne. I previously generated Suzanne with a prompt using the Blender MCP, and it was very low poly, and it was extremely low poly. You could see all of the all of the edges everywhere, right? And so what I did was I said I had Claude Suzanne blend already open, and I think I just said use the retopology skill with the Blender MCP and my monkey head, right? And so that's what it did. And what it did was interesting because it rigged a skull cap, eyelids, or eye sockets, I think it's what it thought, and a nose bridge. And obviously this would be for human editing if you wanted to come in and do something with that. But it also did a good job of smoothing as well, which is kind of nice. In any case, that's what that was. So we did, what do you call it? Face count 57. So you've got the full report here anyway if you're into this kind of thing. I just thought it was interesting to give a little bit more of a refined prompt to the MCP and see if it would work, and it does. So if you've got, you don't have to make just basic simple. I noticed the Blender MCP will make very basic simple stuff, which is great. But there's all sorts of advanced tools in Blender. So if you can describe it, you might be able to do it. So if you've got the terminology and experience to operate Blender at a high level, it's probably a good idea to come in here just for the giggle and say, ask it to do something complicated and see if it falls on its face. That's what I would do. It's probably what I will do. We already showed Qwen TTS UI. It's out. There will be a fork appearing after the stream tonight, which will have the cloning version. Okay? I'm going to do it in a separate branch because it just keeps it cleaner. And then we can get into Demon Swords 2 Endless. But first, we have to check out the Gamedev JSX Components mini site. which is now available at scuffdepot.com/gamedev-JSX. The link is in the inside line. It's the last one, okay? Gamedev JSX. So it's time to make coffee, so I will be right back. Welcome back. Bum 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 bum. Hello everybody. Okay. What have I got for you? Whoop. Microphone. Wrong mouse. And we're back in the room. So, Gamedev JSX components. So this one would be the new mini site. A library of reusable components for game development, live demos and integration guides. So if I go and click on one of them, we have the GitHub link, takes us straight to the repo, or we can check out more info where we can go again to the GitHub repo, or we can see the live demo. So we open it up and we got the live demo. Now it's going to, all of them are different, okay? So flight, acrobatic mode, helicopter mode. So I don't know what you would use this for, but, and then obviously I can put it into manual and I can just, I can just change stuff. But yeah, so each component has a fully working demo in this mini site. So some of these you would have seen before, some of them you won't have. So I want to focus on a couple of them to save time because there's 30 of them here. But they've all been used in various games that we've put out. For example, I use the SNES audio a lot of the time. It's emulating SNES sound effects, okay? So it's like a faithful recreation. Yeah? And then you put this into your system and you have your own sound effects, or you use these sound effects. Right? So it's just a JSX which you drop into the game. You see, for the audio we're going to use the SNES SFX.JSX component. That's how it's done. So you can see how what I'm doing. It's a modular approach. So you don't have to code that because you have a full JSX for it already. For example, not a lot of, some of the games I've done have got this component inside of it, the cheat menu. So if you type IDKFA, which is from Doom, you get the cheat menu, which gives you the god mode, the infinite ammo, and the currency, and the unlock all items, because it might not be actually Doom. Yeah, but the point is, yeah. So cheat codes, right? Let's just go back, and then you just drop the module in and say adapt this to my game. It's going to rewrite it for what your stats, what your items, and some of them we did do that. Engine sounds is engine sounds. That's for racing games. Low poly ships editor. So when I showed you the plane game we were using earlier, low poly ships was dropped into that game. RPG dialogue was dropped into a game I'm going to show you in a bit. Star Fox. A lot of this stuff is based on a Star Fox type game that I've been building. So I've given away all of the different pieces of it. So the mission screen, okay? If you ever played Star Fox, it has a famous screen. So we got the new game screen. You pick your wingman. We launch the mission. Obviously, we're not really going to launch the mission because this is just the menu screens, okay? We can show the fail screen. We can show the campaign map where we have to make a choice. Which way are we going to go? We're going to go this way or this way, right? Because it has the branching levels. So this is like all of that stuff in a component. Oh, there's the victory, right? And the options menu. So you get all of this stuff in a single component. And obviously you can integrate and adapt it to your game. So that's the concept. That's what all of these are. And just by dropping it in and telling the LLM, and it comes with full instructions. So let's see. The boss fights is obviously attack patterns for the bosses. Cinematic intros is like that little spinny, the thing that happens when you start the map, you know. Oh, the hero reveal. Oh, the spiral entry. Okay, the start of the level. Oh, right. So it's all of the different camera angle orchestrations which you can have, and then you just trigger them. Use the cinematic intros system too. It's easy to do. It's easy to then refer to these things, you see. Voxel props is an experiment. Explosion engine you saw in the game. All of the explosions came from the explosion engine. The weapon system is also done with the same thing. Wingman support, again, that's more for the Star Fox. So for example, right here we've got a bunch of enemies, and the player ship is the blue square, the red squares are the enemies. If I call in Crystal, whoever that is, call her in with the special, she's going to come in, do a multi-wing missile attack, and then fly away. You see what I mean? Peppy's got a different weapon. So, oh, do I have to wait? Is there a timer? Yeah, there's a timer. hang on. Let me do Peppy and go. Lightning gun, and then he leaves. You see what I mean? It's like the rudimentary basics for having a wingman with a charge-up timer and being able to call him in to help you. You see? That's essentially what this is. Let's bring Slippy Thing in. Multi-beams. Wow, that's a cool special. You see what I mean? Team special, wingman support system. Comes in with the different characters, with the different weapons. Okay, it seems quite specific, but it's easy to transform this into what you want it to be. So these are all like advanced templates for a modular creation of games in JSX. And the AI can flip it into a different code base for you. But anyway. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here which is really cool, like the 2D level editor that allows you to just upload a nano banana top down and then draw the clip boxes to stop where the players can't go. And then there's the 3D version of that, which gives you a floor grid where you can paint where the players can go. And then this all disappears and you line it up to the floor of a flat mat. So like in old video games like the LucasArts point and clicks, you have a flat 2D image which is maybe isometric or has depth in the scene, and then we put the floor down and rotate it so that the angle's correct, and then your characters walk on that, the invisible floor that's in front. So it's a perspective trick, okay? But anyway, that's what floor aligner is. Modular characters is, in fact, let's show you the original modular characters because this is going to be fun. So here we have the original modular characters. You can see the skeleton. If we just go straight to the animation and just show the walk cycle, I think you can see what it is. There's the cycle, he's walking along. Okay. And you can see he's got all these different pieces, and each piece can be replaced or changed. So if we go back to the builder, we've got all these different pieces. and then we've got the skeleton slots to change what they are, right? And this is all SVG, but it's possible to replace the SVG with graphical assets, right? That comes later. So this is the simple version. We've got an import and export. All right. And the idea is, with this system, we get randomized characters. It's a bit glitchy right now. It looks like there's some pieces missing. But if you actually have all of the pieces, it's fine, because when it adapts, it'll make them for you. But the point is that it'll make infinite enemies with infinite equipment that matches and seems to make sense. Yeah. And you only need to change the pieces. So if you want to have a cool hat, you can just add a cool hat and then map it to the system. So anyway, yeah, without needing to redraw all the animations for everything. And I do actually think it's better to just, well, I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to you. Okay, let's go back here and close this. Okay, liquefy we talked about. So procedural terrain v2, we talked about this. Let's actually see it, because like I said, it's easy to talk. So if I come in here with the editor, right, and I go, oh, I want to put a building here, 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 you can see it's cancelling out the terrain, right? Put some towers in. I don't know what that is. I'll put one of them there. We've got a triangle thing. And then what the heck is this? A little cylinder. Okay, now if I take editor mode off and just look around, you can see that it's reserved the space around and then flattened the terrain map. So if I had a different seed, you're going to have different around it. So you know the space games where you go down to the planet and the space base is like a high rendered model and then the terrain is just sort of cancelled out around it? It's basically a mask on the terrain map. Okay, so this is the same idea, right? Obviously, you want to go high res, you know? I'm going to change that biome to desert. Oh, it's June now. Maybe you prefer alien world. Maybe that's a bit too much resolution. You probably want to have a height slider as well for the amplification, so you can control that. But I think you get the idea. Now if I put preview on, it's going to show me what it would look like if I had one adjacent. So this is depth 1. Obviously you could have, or maybe in Minecraft you might call it like distance. So this is distance 9. So there are now 9 tiles total from where I'm at. So my distance 9. I don't know what you would call the next level. But anyway. So as you can see, yeah, you know, if I had a video game where I wanted to come and land at this moon base, all you have to do is change the color or do a different seed. It's a different place, you see? So, yeah, that's the procedural design. But the way it's working is the terrain mask. Something's weird here, though. Look, it's flunky. It's probably because this is so accentuated. If I put it onto, like, tundra, it's a lot flatter. Okay. All right. So I think you get the idea. This is, but this is, like I said, a demonstration of the concept which you would incorporate into your design. So, you know, this is seamless. It's seamless, tiled, procedural, deterministic design. But this doesn't use the ZeroBytes stuff. This is just a concept to show the terrain masking and how you can, like, automatically reserve terrain for structures. And then you would put your cool models inside this. This is a clipping box for collisions, you know. But if you like retro graphics, you can just shade it with vertex shading and then you're done. So yeah, all right. And again, the tile can be mapped to the seed so that it matches, or you can just use it with a different seed. It doesn't really matter. I show the seeds here so you can pull them up and you can see what they actually are. And then that's how you make, you know, mega installations, because you actually lock the seeds in, you know, so that the tiles are all correct. All right, I think we've, you know, so you want to do your, oh, I need to make something bigger than this. Okay, that's fine. You just do half here, a quarter here, a quarter here, a quarter here. You know, you get the idea. And because the seeds match, it will all tile correctly. So yeah. Next. Oh boy. So then what we did was we took the ZeroBytes skill and applied it to the JSX demo for layered terrain. So if you remember the Beyond Tribonacci study, which is going to get its own site soon, there's a layered terrain demo. So let me just show you the layered terrain. In fact, I think we should actually do that. Yeah, we should do that. I haven't built this website yet, but let me show you what we're basing this on, okay? So if I go up here, right, so this is the layered terrain builder, guys. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, I can. Zoom in a bit. Right. So this is the layered terrain builder. You can see the workflow down here. Foundation, structure, detail, warp, output. All right, that's what it does. Now, if I was to turn these layers off, one by one, we start with nothing. We add the foundation. The foundation it's a normal. We can adjust stuff. Okay, so let's make a little change. Make a little change here with the old slideroos. Now we'll add in structure. Make a few changes with the sliders here. And then we'll put in the detail. Okay, maybe we make a little change there. Probably like hooking it, by the way. Okay, right, and then we'll put the warp on. And then we can obviously change that too. Maybe we turn the warp down a bit. Alright. I should probably do this with web GPU. This is all on CPU, just so more people can use it. But essentially, look, now we've created our terrain with lakes and stuff. We've created our archipelago with mountains and oceans. Okay? That's what this is about. That's what this is for. Right? Noise stack architecture. So obviously the noise is infinite, right? It's just more noise. And we can tile it and make it seamless. So it's perfect for this kind of application. So as I say, we take this JSX. This is the demo HTML that comes in that library. So we take the JSX. We do the ZeroBytes skill to make it all work with the position as seed methodology. We'll take a look at the GitHub real quick so I can explain, because the demo is going to be the V3, which is accelerated web GPU. So we have the original version, which I first made with the original integration. The V2, which improves on it by making it, I think there's a couple of things I did to improve it in the V2. And then the V3 adds web GPU, caching, a whole bunch of other stuff. So that means if a player has been somewhere, they already have it. You know, they don't have to generate it again. Even though they can just generate it again instantly and it will be exactly the same. So here we have in the V1, it has, you know, the basics to make it work. But it was done with Claude, okay? So the first version of 3D layered terrain was done with Claude. We said, Claude, we can make a 3D layered terrain using layered terrain. So we can make this our 3D layered terrain engine, okay? So that's what he's done for the first one. But the problem was, he kind of did it bad. And that's why we brought in the ZeroBytes skill to make it proper XX #32 with hierarchical seeds, 2-pass generation, biome system, rich noise, and LRU chunk cache, which we didn't get. We got basic code in the V1. And so you can actually compare V1 and V2 to see the difference. Now I remember. And then V3 includes the LOD system, the async scheduling, the index DB persistence, and web GPU ready. So if you've got web GPU, it will be accelerated. Okay. And in the demo, you can just fly around and change the seed. That's pretty much all you can do. You just fly around and play. You can't even look. But yeah, as you can see here, industry standard hash. So this is part of the whole magic. Hierarchical seed derivation for derivation, ASCII salts. All of this stuff is really nice. Parallel safe, 10 biomes. Okay. And finally, all ready for the web GPU. So if we go back to the demo, let's have a look. Okay. Now I can go up and down. I can go all around. I don't think I can look around though. For some reason, rotating the camera was too much to ask, but in your game, you would already have a camera. Because this is just a demo of the terrain. Do you see what I mean? And I'm moving pretty fast as well, so it's going to catch it out. Like, can we get to the edge? Oh, there is actually a thing. Right. I'm going to mention this because this is actually really, really interesting. Check this out, right? We're going to get to the edge of the skybox. It's not the edge of the terrain. It's the edge of the skybox. The terrain will keep going. So what you have to do in your implementation, obviously I haven't done that. This is just a demo. But if you have a player character or whatever, the skybox moves with the character so that you can't ever reach the end of it because you're actually running along inside a giant bubble that moves perfectly with you. You know, it's actually part of the player in a way because it's fixed to it like the camera is. So the skybox actually should move as you move, and then you can never hit the end of it. And then you add a bit of like distance fog like we have here, and when you come down to the horizon, you'll never notice the new tiles being loaded. And then when you're actually playing a video game, normally you'd be like on the ground anyway. And in a flight game, they'll do other tricks. They'll do other tricks, like have like a green plane that costs nothing, or just use something like clouds. Usually is good. Clouds are good. Anyway, like just clouds, basically. All right. So as you can see, we've got all of the stuff here. Right, all of the options are over on behind me. You've got all the different options. All the colours are down the bottom where you can't see them. I think we can set the time of day here. Is it going to change? Oh, we've got stars. Sudden stars. Must be nighttime. Yeah, it is. It's because it was nighttime. All right. All right. Let's bring it back. Bring it on back. So from here, we want to look at the Puppet JSX 2, because that will introduce what we're going to look at last. The last two are for other things. I don't know, is that ready yet? No, it's not really ready yet. I have a demo of a Desert Strike game with a helicopter and talking NPCs, and it's all really cool, but I think I need to use WebP and shrink all the images because it takes forever to load them, and so you never see the animations. It's really funny. I was like, aren't you caching this? So yeah, I need to do some Claude. I need to clonk Claude over his bonts. But we're going to look at this one, Puppet JSX 2, because it introduces the last game that we released, which we're going to look at last. And this is the one, like I said, I'm so proud of this because ZeroBytes did such a cracking job by improving Demon Swords. Because Demon Swords was good, where you are a sword and the enemies have to pick you up and then you take control of the enemy, right? So you can't move. It's like the torch game I talked about earlier in the show tonight. But you're a sword. You're a cursed demon sword, okay? But it's a dungeon, endless dungeon. And you get abilities depending on what picks you up and stuff. It's all exactly as we planned it. So anyway, Puppet JSX 2. So I want to show you the demo for this. So position is seed generation. Every character is uniquely determined by their coordinates. Same position, same character, always. No storage required for infinite content. Skeletal animation. Hierarchical bone system with parent-child transform. Create walk cycles, attacks and idles, all with smooth interpolation. So we don't need every frame. We just need a couple. In fact, it's the skeleton that's moving, not the image. So you only need the piece of the body, right? Modular parts system. Mix and match heads, torsos, arms and legs, weapons and accessories. Each part attaches to bones with offset and Z-index. Procedural stats. HP, strength, defense, speed and magic, all defined from coordinates. Class system with warriors, mages, rogues, paladins, rangers and necromancers. Dungeon generation. Infinite dungeon rooms with combat, treasure, shops and boss encounters, tiled-based layouts, generated 0, 1 from coordinates. 0 storage. ZeroBytes philosophy. Coordinates contain all information. Regenerate any character or room instantly without databases. Okay? So let's give you an idea. Here's Norius the Swift. He's a level 5 rare paladin. His coordinates are seed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0, 0. He has this much HP, this much defense, this much strength, this much speed. So let's pick a different position. Now we get Ironwind the Warrior, uncommon level 33 with all the stats. He's at floor 8. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So you get the idea. And it's going to use the right weapon for the right class. You can get even more complicated. This is like the No Man's Sky concept, where everything is determined by where it is. You go deeper off that way, it changes a bit more like that. You go off this way, it changes a bit more like this. And to me, that's a lot like what happens when we navigate around our seeds in our latent space in video and image generation. So it's kind of a similar concept. The coordinate grid. Okay, so obviously at the moment we're just using random. But we can pick. So we can say, look at this guy. It's that one. We can look at this one. It's that guy. Look at this one. Garen of Shadows. Level 28 Paladin. If we keep going, this isn't just the characters. It also has, Fernicar says, a sorting algo to know which one is stronger. We've got procedural dungeon may be required. There are rules. You can define the rules. So procedural dungeon. Room layout generated from coordinate. Click a room to see its tile layout. So obviously you can see here we have different types of rooms. This is the map of the dungeon. So here we have like this one. It has nothing. Yeah. It's just a room. Right? It's just a room with 2 doors. One going in, one going out. Look at the loot room. There you have a room which has the loot crate in the middle. And then here we have the battle room, which has the location of the spawns, you see. So it's encoding where everything... So it encodes where things are and what they are at the same time. Because remember, the coordinates drive. So if the spawn happened to be here, it's a different guy. You see? It's really clever. And it's using noise for everything, right? Here we have all of the code examples for implementation. The ZeroBytes hash functions using Mulberry 32. Okay. So you end up with the GitHub repo explaining all of this, the integration guide, and then the actual JSX component source. If I take a quick look at the repo before we dive into the game, because we obviously integrated this with our game. So you have position as seed. All right, we explained all of that stuff. Does it have any notes for me? Yeah, so the speciality and stuff, I did determine, I set the rules, if you see what I mean. So when you ask about a sorting algo to know which one was stronger, I said it's this. So we have a rock, paper, scissors type thing going on. So yeah, you know, you can go one way or the other, you know what I mean? And then you have extremes and then a balance, yeah. But anyway, okay. It's up to you to sort that out. So let's jump into it then. Where is he? Discord. Inside line. There it is. Demon Swords 2. Endless Edition. Oh boy. Do we have sounds? Okay, hang on. Someone wants to pick me up. I can hold space to reject them. The thing about this game is being a demon sword, I'm too good for you. So you can hold spacebar to reject if you don't want someone to pick you up. So I'm going to take that necromancer there. Now the thing about a necromancer is if I do a dash, he is now part of my army. So I will... Oh, I've run out of dashes. Can I take that guy? I think I got them all. So if I, as a necromancer, if I dash near an enemy, they become part of my horde. Now, hopefully the level design isn't completely scuffed, because it did happen once. Where I load up the game and there's no way out. What are you gonna do? You gonna do this to me? In front of all my friends? Oh god. There's nothing down there, mate. Oh my god, I need to turn that down. There's Nintendo sound effects. In the options, we have the sound, which we probably could have turned down, and the controls. There is a save and a load system, so it will keep whatever I had, you know. Obviously, I can just attack my guys if I want, because there's no one else here. Okay, I can kill them with that. Now, if I press F, I can just dump this guy, you see, to change, and then I can just reject them, actually. I want my guy back. Oh, let's see if I can make sure I get the right guy back. Oh, I should have let him take it. It's fine. So save and load. You can also click on the seed to change the seed. So if I say, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When there's no one around you, you can use the ping to glint and catch the eye of a nearby NPC. And you'll see from your sword sense, you can tell how many enemies there are and whether you're being approached. So now we have a paladin. Do we actually have a map now? Yes, we do. So we can destroy them. We can destroy and we can explore. There's a compass. The sword can sense the nearest boss. And if you defeat the boss, you get the next level. Obviously, we're on floor 1 right now. So the level design, the character design, the enemy, everything is done with the ZeroByte hashing system. So let's kill some enemies, shall we? It does also have the same the buff. It's got the same buff system. I think I've got ghost affinity right now because I'm a paladin, which means I think I can do like a shadow step and I'm stealth. Yeah. See, we got the buff system. So over time, and according to certain landmarks like kills or distance travelled or doors broken, it's going to give me the buffing system like the Vampire Survivors. And they're based on lots of different variables, you know, like not just how strong you are. The level of the sword is actually buffing the base stats. So as you level up, you know, what you're in control of is different. There are also affinity, like totems or whatever. So I could have a paladin, but then change him to necromancy. And then as I level up as well, I'm more attractive to higher level NPCs. So once I reach level 2, there's a zombie class that will want the sword. That will try to come and get me. There's also a hero. There's a hero somewhere on the map. He's invincible, and he won't pick you up, but he will always attack the boss first over anything else. But he will kill you, and he can just instantly kill you. But he's not fast. He has big armor. You know, he's got big knight's armor. So he's like slow and overpowered. And the idea is just to put something in, because you're an evil sword, right? You need to be trapped at the bottom of the dungeon. That's the whole, the whole meta. You're a demon sword trapped at the bottom of the dungeon. You've got to possess mobs and get out. But it's infinite, guys. Oh, wait. I can smell a boss. So if I get near the foundry, I can upgrade my weapon. So I think I've killed enough people to upgrade it. Let me see if I've got enough. Oh, I need a bit more. I'm not going to fight the boss yet. Hang on. So let's do the stealth dodge. Let's go hunt some more enemies. I need to take out some more guys. They're going through the walls. Don't go through the walls. You're not supposed to do that. Have I got up there yet? No, I need a couple more. Just a couple more kills. So different classes have different dash abilities. But swap to goblin mode. What's goblin mode? I don't even remember what is goblin mode. Bullet time. Oh, it doesn't work. That's actually in honor of my the game I have on Steam. It's inspired, but it's not. I don't think the bullet time is working. Oh well, I'm goblin mode now, guys. So we're going to go for the boss, or for the foundry even. So I'll recast myself into a different blade. So we're going to go for the lightning rod, which gives you a lightning storm or whatever. So let's go and kill this boss. Ooh, quick reflexes. Yes, of course. The difference with the mod system in this game, it's still passive, so it doesn't interrupt the game to make you choose. But the difference with this one is it doesn't stack. It has a timer, and if you don't get to it, it just picks option 1. So that's what the constant beeping is. Alright, let's kill this guy. He's just a giant version of, you know... Yeah, okay, we did it. So now we can get through. And we get to the floor 2. And floor 2 features different enemies. And, you know, it gets tougher, basically. But it's not supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be a tech demo to show you how you can implement the ZeroBytes stuff for full, you know, true procedural generation, not like cheating. I've noticed that when you look at the code, you can see that he's cheating. I might be able to show you that, actually. But the skill makes him actually do it right, which is nice. Because then you don't have lots of problems. You know, you can build a game like this, and then everything kind of falls apart, and it's because he cheats. And so we found a way to force him to do it right. So this will just keep going forever. It doesn't have an end. You can go all the way to the top, you can go all the way to the bottom. There are different enemies, and you say, well, what's the point? Because it's all the same. And that's where changing the graphics comes in. Because you get a bit of a visual treat every time you get to see something new. So obviously, as you go up the dungeon, you get more enemy types. So then the reason for continuing is to see all the you want to defeat all the enemies, beat all the bosses, and so that's. And I was looking at it with the Akira Toriyama, and the biggest complaint he had about this system was that there's no link between what the parts are, and he said the way to make it work is you have to have all of the parts actually be like have meaning. So you can't just, like right now, it's just a bunch of jumbled up colors, isn't it? It's just whatever, right? It's just, look, if we look, it's just different colors. It doesn't really mean anything. You look at, there's a paladin, there's a ranger, and obviously you could make the colors for paladin, right? We could make a detailed chest and a detailed head, and you could have like variations and stuff. But he was saying, you can't just then randomly jumble them up, you can't just put a skeleton leg on a zombie and call it a new thing. So you got to come up with like a system that has like some meaning behind it, and he gave a bunch of good suggestions for how you might do that. And that's what the advisors are for. They're not supposed to just make Dragon Ball Z. You get the Akira Toriyama advisor that turns everything into Dragon Ball, and that can happen if you use it wrong. But if you use it right, he'll give you really good, like meaningful, actionable advice that gives you the consideration you need to go from it just being a bunch of random jargon into something that could actually be considered. Whoa, an artistic communication of intent by an author. Because you're basically a producer, right? So it's up to you. The AI can write the code for you, but just saying make the code good does work, but it's not enough. And so what I'd like to try to do is give it grounding in an aesthetic foundation. So like pick someone that you like and then do research on their work, and then distill the elements that make that, whatever the DNA is, you distill and you work on it, and you have to review it and curate it, but then eventually you end up with grounding that can be used to generate agents, skills, MCPs, and it's all, part of the agentification. What's my special? Oh, I don't even have one. I've just got a normal dodge. But yeah, what I'm going to do next is we're going to put proper textures in and solve that, because I think it's going to be WebP. Like WebP will do no animations, right? WebP, just WebP, heads and chests. That's where I'll start. You can go back down as well if you want. one of the biggest bugs I had was I was like, why does it never go up a floor? And it was because he put the spawn for down in the middle of the first square, so that when you land on the next level, you immediately go down to the first level. I was like, and it took a while to figure that out because it happened so quickly, you never even saw it happen, and it didn't even have an asset, you know, to say down on it. So I did, why is this happening? That was confusing me. So there was actually nothing wrong with it, you know. It was just unfortunate, you know, because it tries to put things in the middle of the room. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. So anyway, if I was to now save this game here, let's see. I have Sirhart, Paladin. I don't know if it's going to keep everything. I don't know. We'll see, right? Save. Refresh it. I'm now level 0 on floor 1. Load. Oh look, I'm back and I've got Sirhart and everything again. Even got my right weapon. Look at that. You see? And the joke is the save name is just using the seed and the position for almost everything. I had to save separately the guy that you currently have because he may have been generated on a different level. So we had to keep that seed information and where, you know, where did this guy come from? But then we can just look it up. So he's not actually in there either. It's funny. But yeah. And when you think about it, this is the framework for, you know, you could do this in 3D now. You could do this with higher quality graphics. Obviously, you can make it more complicated, blah, 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 blah. Theme it to be whatever it needs to be. But the funny thing is, like, I developed a game called Angles a long time ago. Has a demo on Steam, but we never finished it. And mostly it was because of art. It takes a long time to make the good artwork, right? So, and, you know, people even still criticize it when you've made it anyway. What's this? Ghost mode. I'm going ghost mode. So I get stealth. See, beast mode is nice because you do like a charge through them. See, I'm invisible. I'm invisible. But only for 3 more seconds. Hit him with the secondary attack. And obviously as you go up the game, there are more enemies. You know, it scales. Not only are they stronger, but there are more of them. And obviously we earn more upgrades. And yeah, it's an endless game. A truly endless game. Fully procedural. I wonder how big it is. I bet it's not even a very big game. Like the code is. I bet the code is really small. Should we kill the boss? Oh, what's this? Oh, I'm already ghost mode. See, ghost will be his weakness, or maybe not. Actually, he's a necromancer. Okay, we're now on floor 4. Hit save. You can see the enemies. I love it. Seal active because we haven't beat the boss. In fact, hang on. If I go down, does it? Ah, the seal's back. So you can actually go back down and you have to beat the new boss. Because the funny thing is, the boss is determined by noise, right? So if you went the opposite way from where it says the boss is, eventually it's just going to point at... I think, eventually it's just going to point at a different boss. Because you think it's like infinite tiling, right? I don't know. Where is he? They're not even trying to get me, you losers. I think my stealth is overpowered. Up we go. So yeah, like I say, I mean, look, it's basic, right? But with a little bit more work, a little bit more assets. Maybe we make the levels themed, you know? Have a different tile set for each level. That would mix it up. And just as I've got the procedural character upgrade ready, I kind of like the SVG, if I'm being honest. It's kind of clean. Also, you get an upgrade that increases the power of the glow. So you can see it's quite big right now. But as it goes up, it should zoom out. It's got like a dynamic zoom. It's based on how bright it is. So I think the next time I get a brightness update, it should zoom out. So obviously the game, it changes from being quite zoomed in at first to being quite zoomed out in late game. So you've got more view, but also just to keep that torchlight aesthetic, which was kind of nice from the Torch game. I just keep missing the upgrades. But so I determined what was going to be. If anything, the doors are a bit ropey. I just made it so that you can just smash them open. And I think originally there was a keycard system like in Doom. And like maybe even secret stuff going on. But I just said, yeah, you can just break all the doors. Because the thing is, I never saw a key. It was like, oh, you have to get the right key cards. And I was like, yeah, but there are no keys in this game. So we just smashed them open. But this plays almost exactly like a game I built in Unreal Engine 4 in 2019. It's like almost identical. There's a village between each map. That's the only difference. There was a village and there were outdoor open maps. It wasn't all dungeon. The dungeons were the mountains. And then there was like a outdoor map that was a lot like Vampire Survivors, but it played a lot more like this. And like I said, this is a demo I made in 2019. Something like that. With a friend. Okay, take him out. Oh, one of them survived. Alright. I think with a bit of graphics, this is actually going to be really nice. And I think it's probably worth making the village and stuff so you've got the upgrade and the equip system and all this nonsense. We made it, everyone. We made it to level 4. So far, I've only been as far as level 12 when I've been testing, but it just keeps going. You know, it just keeps going. It keeps generating new bosses. It keeps generating new enemies. You continue to power scale. You know, there's no clamp or anything on power. So you can probably completely break the game by upgrades. Because technically, when you hit level 10, I think, at level 10, you're going to be 10% buff on all stats. No, 100%. I think 100%. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the logic was in the end. Because sometimes I reduce it to make it more reasonable. But you think, like, I think it was like a month ago we were making Pac-Man and Space Invaders and stuff, and this is a true endless game. It just needs some graphic assets, but it's more or less feature complete. I've already got a system which can place props according to the tile, so just in the same way that we had that structure thing, you can have a props mask that's activated by seeds. So if I go to a seed in a location, I can ensure that an object appears, and then you can actually have, like, you know, narrative, collectibles, inventory, add all kinds of stuff like this. But I was trying to escape all of that, you know, as far as possible, because it's all memory, right? What's this? Beast mode, hell yeah. We finally get the Wolverine dash. So if I just go to the end here, and they're all coming towards me, I look left, and then I go left and I press space. And it took half the health off the first two. And then I got cooked. The special abilities are fun. But to be honest, I'm already overpowered as hell. To be honest though, I can get even more powerful, right? So right now I've got a level 14 paladin, yeah? So let's say I just, whoopsie. Oh. So I lose some stuff, but I'm still the same lightning rod. I lose my buffs. But now I am Shadowmere the Blessed, a level 20 warrior. So then my buffs will apply to a higher level beast. You see? So that's the progression. The funny thing is you have to die. If you stay the same player from level 1, you'll never be powerful enough, because the whole point is possession. I'm the sword, not the guy, right? So he's a convenience right now, you know. We're possessing him for our own evil deeds. And so now I'm stronger, you know. And every time you go up a level in the dungeon, you get stronger enemies of a different class. The different class gives you different abilities. So let's see, I've still got the warrior has the beast dash as well. Because I'm lazy. Get him with the Wolverine slash. Okay, cool. And we do have other weapons as well. Maybe I want to be a bit more beast. Be a bit more beast energy. Beast tamer energy. I got my chain whip now. Hit him with the chain whip. It's not as good as the lightning rod, obviously. But I still enjoy it. It's kind of fun. There we go. See, we upgraded the range of the torch. Oh yeah, interestingly, there's no block in this game. Why is there no block in this game? Because you just drop the sword? Who cares if the guy gets killed, right? The next guy will pick you up anyway. Honestly, it does make it interesting, but I'm still messing around with this idea because it's an interesting type of format, you know? I'm sure it must have been done. It must have been done, but I've never seen it. The first idea was the demonic torch, so a torchlight, whoever picks it up gets possessed and then you control them. And then we developed it obviously into the Demon Swords idea just through talking about it in the Discord a bit. And so now we've got this thing, and it is literally that, you know. I am now Shadowmere the Blessed. And if I beat the boss and go to the next level, I'll become the next one. So yeah, I just like the idea. It's just an interesting sort of game concept, I guess. So sometimes you had to let yourself, in early versions, especially in the Torch game, you had to let yourself be killed to get through, because you weren't able to beat the boss. So you had to, like, take an enemy near the boss, fight the boss, and then drop yourself, get picked up by, and then you'd have to, like, beat the boss by just getting all of the other mobs to fight him. He can't even get near me. Oh, this is great. Oh, I can't get him with my... Oh, problems. Oh, no, it's okay. I thought the gate had appeared in the wall and I wouldn't be able to get at it, but it's good. So, yeah, now we're on the next level. Oh, so what do I do? Oh, how about this? Just hit a few people. I don't like that guy. Oh, I don't want that guy. We'll take the ranger. Oh no. Have I got the ranger? I got a paladin. What's happened here? Yeah, there we go. Oh, no. Now I got a warrior again. Who's that guy? I think I broke that one. I think I might have broken that one with all my hijinks. Because he won't go away. Oh, that guy's pretty strong, actually. A 23 warrior and a 29 necromancer with no head. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, he does have a head. It's just a funny hat. Okay. We can go down, we can go up, we've got another boss to fight. I think you get the idea, guys. It's just forever content. It never runs out. And I like these frameworks because if we can get this, imagine if you had something like this sort of system where movement generates the content and then you attach it to a world model, right? So then you could use this as guidance for the world model. When I say this, I mean this like a system which is using position as seed to deterministically, procedurally create guidance. whatever that means. A 3D environment, a 2D environment, whatever that means. And then when you're controlling the thing, then the AI, the world model, only has to actually make this high quality. Which makes, if that makes sense. It's kind of interesting. It's like running every component in this through a diffusion model in real time. But anyway, that's a whole different thing, so I wouldn't worry about that. This is working great. Man, I just be ended up playing this all night, but we've run out of time. So, hopefully I managed to cover everything. Let me just see if I missed anything tonight. So, we covered the Qwen TTS UI, which is available right now on GitHub, all the new games. There's going to be a new games mini site, an arcade with all of these games that we built, so they're easy to access and get to. The latest version of the TTS with the cloning will be a new fork later tonight. Beyond Fibonacci guide is coming. The arcade is getting updated. The Blender MCP, if you have it, check out the Blender retopology skill. And if you're doing any kind of game design with procedural anything, so open world, you know, tiled dungeons like we've just been looking at, you want to check out the ZeroBytes skill. It takes a plan in, it spits a plan out, and it will give you recommendations. You know what I mean? So it doesn't like, it's not just going to recode your whole game. It's going to give you something to approve or, you know. Yeah, so we've implemented all of these various components into various different games. I think the only one I didn't show you was the helicopter game, which is strange because it's finished. Oh well, I suppose it's something to watch out for in the Discord between now and next Sunday, huh? Alright guys, it's been my pleasure. But it's time to go. 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. Last week in January, guys, make it count. I'll see you all next time.